Generating traffic and sales can be a challenge for online merchants. But selling on the Walmart Marketplace puts your products in front of millions of customers who shop on Walmart.com. And right now, sellers who join Walmart Marketplace can save up to 50% on referral and fulfillment fees for the first 90 days. So get started today. Head over to marketplace.walmart.com/savings. That's marketplace.walmart.com/savings. Welcome to E-Commerce Conversations, a weekly podcast from Practical E-Commerce, hosted by entrepreneur Eric Bandholz.
What is going on, Internet? Eric Bandholz back again with another E-Commerce Conversations. Hope all is going well on the other side of the Internet. On the other side of the table from me, Braxton. What's up, man?
What's up, E-Commerce Conversation Nation?
Aha! I've never said that
back
before.
For a third time. Thank you, Eric.
Is it a third time?
Yes.
Man, how long has it been since you're on the show? Like a year?
Probably about a year.
Yeah.
I probably believe we've done these about a year apart.
Now, last time we met up in person, there was a lot of challenges that you were facing in the watch band business. Is that still the case, or?
I would say generally yes, but we're still surviving, you know? And one of the things we talked about last time was this water bug metaphor for business, where basically if things sort of decline revenue-wise, you can still survive and figure it out. So, you know, where we're at now is basically operating from a place of profit first. So we grow as much as we can, and basically based on last month's P&L.
Yeah.
And scale back if needed to. And it's required literally multiple scale ups, then pullbacks, then scale ups, then pullbacks. But also, you know, the business Braxley is my brother Zach and I. And we work remote. We haven't taken a salary in a while. And we're basically just focused on, let's make this business something healthy first.
Yeah. Yeah. So getting back to the bootstrap kind of mentality, spend the money that you have rather than future money. And I know there was a lot of like areas to clean up and improve that. And for those referencing the water bug, it's the animal is a tardigrade or I think it's tardigrade. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. It kind of sounds wrong as I say it out loud, but it's a water bear that has like these 6 legs. It looks like a bear under a microscope. And what happens is when it doesn't have water, it like dehydrates itself, and then it allows it to it's not functioning in any way. It's just there surviving, and it can live for hundreds of years, quote unquote, live. And then when the conditions in the environment are right, then it starts, you know, getting up to living life, and then it reproduces and goes on its way. So,
yeah.
You know, sometimes the secret to business, in my opinion, is like just survival. Like, can you survive long enough to where the conditions are right for your business to thrive, or, you know, you get the right idea, or you have the right inspiration, or, you know, spin it in the right way. I just had Molson on in the last episode, and he's kind of talking about the same thing. It's like, you're going to do 10 things and one of them will hit. And it's like, can you work through those 9 things that are failures? So it's like, try 9 different things that aren't going to put your business out of business. And then that one to kind of like help you over the lump. And then what happens is you do 10 and all of those are failures. So you have to do it again.
Maybe it's 11.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's actually, I think, a really important thing to be aware of in business, because it really can help prevent burnout. Like, I remember reading back in the day, I think in the Naval book, that 99% of all effort is wasted, and you just have to be at peace with that.
Yeah.
And so, you know, to the entrepreneur that starts out and he tries 3 and it doesn't work the first 3, like, and that person stops, well, maybe like the profit was found on the 4th, you know, project.
There is a bit of like skill too. Like, you know, part of it is, you know, like when you, I'm going to make an analogy to weightlifting, because I weightlift a fair amount, but it's like you go into the gym and you do a bench press, your technique's going to be bad and you're going to be weak.
Yeah.
I could do like, you know, I could do bench like 3 days a week and then be done with it, and I'm not going to see any progress. But if I go in there every day, you know, do the bench press, then my technique's going to get better, which allows me to lift better. And not only am I going to lift better, I'm going to get stronger. So business very much is about putting in the reps, you know, being in the arena, as they like to say it. But you're going in the arena in a couple different ways, huh? You got a new business you're starting? Tell me about that.
Yeah. So I actually have 3 direct-to-consumer e-commerce businesses now. So my fiance, Maddie, started this business called Peace Love Hormones about 3 years ago when we first started dating. And it was a direct-to-consumer supplement brand for women's hormone health. And I've seen this business blossom and flourish, and slowly but surely I've taken on more of an executive role there, basically functioning as CEO of Peace Love Hormones so that Maddie can go back to school and pursue her doctorate in herbal medicine and basically be the founder that focuses on the product, where I can focus on the marketing and the operations. And then, my brother Zach, who also runs Braxley with me, is now also involved with Peace Love Hormones, and then our third business, Mystic. So what we're essentially trying to build out is like a family holding company where we are able to operate multiple direct-to-consumer e-commerce businesses. At this point, they're all 6 and 7 figure. They're they're relatively like humble businesses still in very many ways, but we're building so that we're all in our 20s, so we're relatively in our early stage of our career. But the idea is that when we're seasoned, like 20 years from now, if we just keep working on this, eventually we're going to have something really special here that will generate hopefully generational wealth and a great lifestyle with our family.
Now let's talk about you. Not only do you have 3 businesses, one is watch bands, one is supplements, one is natural chewing gum.
Yeah.
Those are not related in any way, are they? Like, is there any connection, a way to bring them together?
Yeah, there's actually a lot of economies of scale, and that's one of the things I'm excited about. So like, for instance, we're using the same email agency for all 3 brands, and we were able to negotiate really favorable pricing on that because they're basically signing on 3 clients. Same with our media buyer that we hired, and same with our virtual assistant. So they're all Shopify businesses. That has a lot more in common as 3 businesses do. Then that's the most important part. Like,
are you using the same template for every?
Same template, same tools, same tech stack. And it's actually given us a lot of cool negotiating leverage to basically be 3 clients in one. And so I've really appreciated the recent economies of scale that we've kind of found with this. And it makes me really try to make a case for the entrepreneur that maybe has one that's going decently well. Maybe instead of trying to make that one double, you just start a second one and get it to that same level. Yeah.
What are you doing for fulfillment? Are you guys fulfilling yourself still, or?
We use a boutique 3NL in Dallas. So it's just like a family-owned 3PL, and they haven't added even a second warehouse. So we just have everything in Dallas. And I've loved working with them for the last 7 years now because they are really flexible. And I also am familiar with using ShipBob, and that is really not fun. We switched Peace Love Hormones. We're switching right now from ShipBob to boutique warehouse in Dallas. And the reason is because I can call the owner of that place. And with ShipBob, I have to submit a form to even do anything.
Yeah.
It's so much more enjoyable as an operator of a business to be able to call the owner of a place and just be able to feel like you're able to contact and get support. Support is everything.
Yeah. So you'll be consolidating all 3 businesses at the same warehouse. Let's talk about Mystic. Now Mystic kind of checks all the boxes. Not all the boxes. I have this unicorn e-commerce business model where it's consumable, small, lightweight.
Sell to the affluent.
Yeah. High end. But I also have the AOV at I think $65 to $100, which this is probably not that, right?
We're aiming for it.
Yeah.
So one can is MSRP, top price is $38.
Oh,
and
it's $38 for a can?
Yeah. And if you use typical good business modeling practices of your margins, that's actually right where it needs to be. But it's also more than a month's supply. Okay. So you think about supplements, we're actually not trying to sell this as a chewing gum. You think about chewing gum pricing as $2.
Right.
This is a monthly supplement, and it's actually a wellness practice. It's a beauty product.
Okay.
TikTok shops, their best category times 2 is beauty products on TikTok shop. And so instead of selling this as a chewing gum, sell it as a affluent beauty product.
Okay. How's that going? I mean, it is because I saw the first version of this, which was geared towards men and kind of enhancing your jaw, right? And then this one is definitely not geared towards men.
Yeah.
Walk me through, like,
it's inclusive, but it's also kind of just like, no, we're putting like sexy female lips on it, basically. Yeah. It's a beauty product for women. And the idea with that is like, lean into it being a women's product. And because then we can really sell it to this wide open pasture of a market and somebody that can really benefit and appreciate this product. You know, there was all the other brands in mastic gum, which if you're not familiar with mastic gum, it's a natural tree sap gum that you can chew on it. It's got a ton of health benefits. It's a very cool product, and it's a little bit different than regular gum. It's not sweet at all. It kind of is a little bitter. But
I wouldn't even describe like bitter. Like, to me, it kind of tastes like you're chewing eucalyptus, or cedarwood, or something like that. Like it
comes from a tree, and it tastes like it.
Tastes like a tree. So like, you're going to be chewing a tree. Yeah,
but also it's really palate cleansing. It's actually, you can develop a nice like appreciation for the flavor.
It's like fresh feeling. It also like it doesn't lose its flavor, which I find really impressive. Like, you could reuse this stuff, like spit it out, start chewing again, and it's going to be just like the moment you popped it in.
Totally. So anyway, I started chewing this stuff like 3 years ago, and I'm familiar with all the brands in the space that have ever basically capitalized on this mastic gum and brought it to the American markets. And there's nobody that did it really well at all. And so that was my first interest, was I think like just capitalistically, I can pursue this product on the market and it would be successful because I know people really like it. And all the other brands that there were selling to men. It was very masculine, very Greek god, like literally like Hercules brands. And I was kind of joking about it. I'm like, there's like 7 of them and they're all doing the same thing. Like, doesn't everybody like, you know, as a more of an, I guess, a artistically minded person, like I love the saying like zig when everybody else zags.
Yeah.
I just was so inspired by what was on the market, and I wanted to do one that I felt was really just, artfully done to me.
What, I mean, it's beautiful packaging. For those who don't see it, like go to, what's the URL?
mysticgum.com.
mysticgum.com. And, you know, you have a custom-made tin, right? I can't imagine that was inexpensive to make.
It wasn't bad.
Or maybe I'll have to talk to you, get your suppliers, because we're looking for some opportunities to cut costs.
Okay.
With our packaging. So I'll talk maybe off air. And maybe you can DM Braxton if he wants to share his sources or not. I tend not to talk about
my Alibaba.
Oh yeah. I mean, the quality is great. Like, this is not like, I would not quote unquote call this Alibaba.
No, I mean, well, it took 6 months to make, basically.
Okay.
I mean, so the
packaging.
Well, the packaging, I mean, we waited on the sea freight of it. By the time we started it to the time we basically got it, 6 months.
Okay.
And you know, the beginning of that stage though was figuring out what even the logo was going to look like. Right. So we're talking like, you know, this business is 6 months old, and we were able to, you know, kind of do this beta test last year, which you were familiar with, where I sourced this gum and we had a different label on it, but it was done in a very bootstrapped way. Basically, we all put $1,000 into it. So we started with $3,000 and we figured out what we could do with that. Ended up selling 20 grand worth of product and realized, all right, we have something like this is going to work. And then ultimately rebranded, came up with this new business model for it, and in a compelling case why the rebrand made sense. And we were able to raise money from friends and family.
Oh, nice.
We raised 90 grand. And that is able to get us enough to basically treat it like a legit business from the start. But it's not excessive by any means. Yep. And so I think that's been so helpful to actually do the custom packaging. And we have 5,000 units worth of gum at launch, which is enough to make our first 200,000 of revenue. And then once that's sold, we're really a legit business.
Yeah.
So, you know, I love being this like kind of second time founder in a way, because I'm able to start it from the very beginning again when I actually understand what the beginning lessons are.
Yeah, all the mistakes you made in the first go around, try not to make them on the second round.
Yeah. So,
and then sometimes I think about that and I'm like, well, you know, with Beard Brand, for example, we have like 9 different fragrances and just like SKU explosion, right? And I always wonder, is like, man, if I just focused on like one fragrance, or it wasn't even like a fragrance thing, it was just like, here's the product, you get the fragrance, kind of like Old Spice.
Yeah.
Would that have been better? I wouldn't have had so many SKUs, and I want to have these like MOQ issues. But then part of me is like, well, people come to us because we have so many different fragrances.
Yeah.
So it gets easier to get people to try more or have a higher MOQ, a higher AOV, because people are buying multiple fragrances and stuff like that. So
yeah, I personally like multiple fragrances because I think it's fun to change it up. Like,
yeah. Now, how is the goal to always just carry one
no, I mean, I think
product, or how are you going to expand this product line as you continue to get traction?
so. What we basically followed was the keep it simple, stupid principle of like, we were able to basically sell this gum unprocessed, and because it's just these raw chunks, we can just literally put it in a can and get it to the customer, and it's in a way, it's perfect how it is. But we are working on flavoring it and figuring out some research and development stuff where we can totally flavor it, and we can make it amazing. We can put it into perfect little cubes or like fun shapes. It can melt down. It's like treated like candy.
Yep.
And so we're basically trying to figure out, okay, do we do that in Greece where the gum is sourced from, because they can do some stuff like that there, or do we do it in America and like, close by to our 3PL?
What is kind of the decision-making process for that? Just having more control in the manufacturing process here in the States, or quality assurance?
I think there's so many factors that would go into that decision, price too, and but we're not even in the stage where we know yet. We're still trying to find somebody in the States. So if anybody listening knows a 3PL, or I'm sorry, actually a co-manufacturer, co-packer, a contract food and supplement
they have a kitchen.
worker, they have a kitchen and it's certified with certain special things. You got to, you can have
FDA regulations, right?
Yeah,
or whatever it is.
GMP and there's some other stuff. But we are having a hard time finding that. And from what I understand, it is very hard for a brand to find that in the early stage, because these manufacturers want somebody that already has a track record.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those chicken or the egg things. It's like, well, then how does anybody ever make it? Somebody has to take a chance on you, basically.
And also, it seems like the scale is usually pretty high. So like the MOQs are going to be years worth of inventory or 2 years worth of inventory. I mean, when we started Beard Brand, we were literally making it in my kitchen, just kind of like, the old founder story where put on your beard mask and, like your gloves and stuff like that. And, you can just start cooking. Yeah. The old Walter White way. Yeah. I guess is always an option, but from there you'd have to probably have to get a new tin or a new color tin and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea is to like come out with variety, but really take your time with it.
Yeah.
Like this product should be something on its own just now that'll get us really far.
Yeah.
And it's like, then just focus on doing that first. Don't focus on expanding into a bunch of other stuff until you're ready. And that was a beginning lesson learned that I now know not to do.
Yeah. Where you mentioned TikTok Shop, how are you currently marketing the product?
TikTok Shop is like something that I haven't cracked yet, and
have not.
I'm convinced I will. Just for context, Mystic Gum is like literally a week. We're a week into fulfilling orders, so it is fresh. TikTok Shop is something we've spent a lot of time this week working on, though. Like I believe that this will have far better product channel, or whatever you call it, product marketplace fit. Product platform fit is probably what you should call it. But Braxley, which is the Apple Watch Band business, is having a hard time figuring out people that want to really rep that, and it doesn't have the same viral potential. And you see it in the gross numbers. Like if you look at, I'll send this to you or something. We can share it with anybody that's interested. But there's a breakdown I just looked at today of the top performing categories on TikTok Shop, and beauty is double the popularity or the GMV of the next category, which is like something kind of beauty adjacent. It's like fashion. And so that just shows you what people are buying on there. And I think if you want to have success on there, maybe you kind of have to aim towards that. That category. Yeah.
So you're targeting it as a beauty product. What other strategies are you doing to get the word out about the product?
Right now, affiliate is a big thing, and my fiance Maddie, she is an Instagram creator, so she's been, basically making posts around health and wellness, lifestyle stuff for the last 5 years, and is now, I think her account's at about 90,000 followers, but everybody's very engaged on there. Like she really has an incredible community, and Peace Love Hormones, the supplement business, is doing about 20 to 30K a month, totally organically. So that's the most profitable business out of all of them, because it's doing less than Braxley on the gross revenue. It's totally organic, whereas Braxley is a performance marketing business. It's all built on meta ads right now, and it worked really well for a few years, and that's how I got my start. And since performance marketing has kind of taken a efficiency decline, it's been just very challenging to figure out how to make it all work, make the math.
Yeah.
But Peace Love Hormones is built entirely organically off of Maddie's Instagram, basically. So she has subscribers that stay subscribed for a long time, and basically once you get one, you keep them, which is awesome. And that's why I wanted to do the gum, was because it's subscribable.
Yeah. So you're, she's promoting both products then?
Yeah. So she's also a partner in Mystic, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. We're those two are like we're totally just basically co-founders in them.
Are you, you kind of mentioned it being a family business, and, are the equity percentages different for each business, and you have like 3 separate businesses, or is it all one holding company that, you just own everything equally?
Well, no, yeah, it's all different, I guess, different scenarios. I mean, that's Maddie and I are getting married, which is sweet. So we'll have majority share, hopefully.
Your poor brother.
Yeah, right. So no, but it's actually interesting. I mean, it's required, for instance, Peace Love Hormones, like Maddie just has 100% of the equity in that right now, but it's like, we're building towards something bigger than it doesn't matter. We're literally like building up, it's a family here, and who knows what the equity ends up looking like. But, for Braxley, for instance, actually, my younger brother bought out my co-founder when he graduated college. So started it, I for that one, I don't mind going into it. It's all good. It's like, my brother has 40% and I have 60% of Braxley. Mystic, we all have quarter percentages. So Maddie's brother, Tom, is also involved as a equal partner. And I actually really liked that we set it up as equal. I was really for that, because I think that it then just makes everybody feel like it's democratic.
Yeah. Now you said there are investors in that too, right? So
yes.
Is there a chunk carved out for them as well, or is that?
Yeah. So, I mean, we're fortunate enough to like have built up a network, and, my fortunate that like there's several members of my family that are entrepreneurs and kind of get the hustle and love what we're doing. And I think genuinely believe in, my brother and I as, but basically from our network and from our friends and family, we were able to, get $5,000 and $10,000 checks to get us started.
Okay. Are those, when you set that deal up, are they looking to make their money back by being paid back at a percentage, kind of like a loan, or is it going to be through like distributions as you guys?
Yeah, distributions. So we valued the company at $1 million.
Okay.
And so, basically $10K gets you, 1% of the company.
Okay.
And yeah, the terms we have in place is basically like the investors will get paid before the founders do at a distribution level. Okay. So whenever that happens, hopefully it's in the next year. Could totally be. I mean, we're talking about an amount of money to make back that's really doable. Yeah. And I just wholeheartedly believe like that's a good investment for them. Yeah. Hopefully we'll pay them back in the next year.
Yeah. So you're a weekend, you're fulfilling your first orders. Where did those first orders come from? It wasn't TikTok Shop. Was it Meta or? It was
coming from Instagram,
Okay.
Yeah. So organic from us sharing Maddie's platform. And that was kind of the idea. Like, I actually read a whole prediction today from this guy, Balaji, I think is his name. He's like the Bitcoin guy, saying how brands in the future will have an influencer co-founder. Like that is just going to become an increasingly common thing, because you're just going to everything is just turning into being media businesses. Yeah. And so we have this we did it. We fortunately just perfectly aligned where like, Maddie is a Instagram creator who has a 6-figure audience. And so that's allowed us to sell our first few $1,000s worth. At this point, we've sold like $5,000 worth of gum. Yeah. And it's, I think my goal is, and sort of what we're forecasting is that by Q4, we'll be doing 6 figures a month. Yeah. And this can scale like really, really quickly.
Yeah, I think so as well. Is she able to leverage any other Instagram connections? How well is she connected with other content creators?
Yeah, so that's the other thing, right? Is like they're all networking with each other. So yeah, we are actually doing. We have some awesome affiliate partners already set up that have way more followers than Maddie even. Yeah, and it's just because that we're friends with them. Like we've had dinner with them before. Right. It's just a great way to set yourself up for that strong first true 1,000 fans. Yeah. Before you start running paid ads. I mean, we're going to run paid ads in the next month probably, but we're not rushing it. Yeah. It's like, let's just let the snowball, pick up some traction. And
I'm a big fan, especially in the early days, as much as possible, having one channel that you focus on with a product, because you can attribute 100% of the growth from that channel. Like there's no confusion over where it's coming from. So if it's, I know I'm not just saying like one content creator, but so if it's affiliate marketing and just building out through content creators and quote unquote influencers, then you really know the power of that. And also like you can start to learn like the power of a lifetime customer of a, like a content creator or referral kind of person versus down the road when you start doing paid ads or something like that. I think you'll find that just influencers have the right influencers have such a better connection to the product, or they help the customer develop such a better connection to the product than an ad would do alone. And I think there's just a little bit of just, from my perspective, you get higher reviews on the product, you get more informed customers. There's just a lot more like positive vibes that happen that way versus, going through paid. And I know there's a lot of people who grow through paid as well and have lots of success, but I feel like even like on Amazon too, you tend to get like a less sophisticated buyer. And I mean that in a way, they just spend less time and energy learning about the product.
Oh yeah, right.
So I can imagine like the amount of challenging reviews you'll get from this product from people who don't invest into learning what the product is going to be one of your challenge points in the paid channel, right?
For sure. So one of the things we're doing that's really exciting with Mystic is we're not calling subscribers, and we're not calling it a subscription. We basically came up with this idea of the Ancient Gum Chewing Club. So we have the cool hats made. We got the Ancient Gum Chewing Club logo, and we got patches. I actually got one for you in my pocket.
Dude, you're so Gen Z, man. Like everything about this is like Gen Z.
Right. Well,
like
hey, I'm at the generation where I'm right in between millennial and Gen Z.
I'm calling you a Zer, man, because I don't want to do any of this shit.
Yeah. Well, that's the idea is, okay, let's like build a culture, And so you're giving people patches in their orders when you subscribe. And actually, this is going to be a very interesting test I'm excited to see play out. We are going to be charging more for our first subscription and less for subsequent renewals.
Okay. So it's $38 first time, and then it gets cheaper.
Yes. And so, but with your first purchase, you're going to get like the new subscriber kit. So you're going to get, you're kind of paying an initiation fee as you would a club.
Okay.
Whereas most people are running their subscription businesses trying to discount the first purchase to get the customer in on a lower risk. We're doing the inverse. Zig where everybody zags. And I honestly got to give a shout out to this really cool looking coffee brand called Clue. Drink Clue, I think is the...
Like
KLOO.
Okay.
I saw them do this model, and their coffee looks awesome. It's basically a cold brew concentrate in like a beautiful tequila, like, liquor bottle.
Okay.
And they charge like $35 on their first. So you get the beautiful bottle that the coffee comes in, and you get some other stuff. And they say like, you get access to in-person activations. There's a digital product aspect to it, and like some really cool little digital features. So it's like, okay, you're getting stuff as part of the club. And then after that, they ship you renewals of the coffee in like, I think, more of a flexible plastic pack, so you can fill it into the reusable bottle, and so then they can save their margin. I'm sure the bottles cost $5-6, so they're able to save $5.
What are you doing? Subscription only?
No.
Okay,
but we're discounting it 20% based on the one time, but also the first. So the first purchase of the subscription is more than subsequent, but both of those are still less than a one-time purchase.
Okay, so you can join the club for cheaper than a one-time purchase?
Yes.
Okay.
But the best, basically, like, it's not that we're incentivizing the subscription as much as it is we're disincentivizing
the one-time purchase.
The one-time purchase. We don't want anybody to do that.
Yeah. So what do they get in the club? They get the patch, they get the gum.
They're going to get access to a content library of like Maddie's health and herbalism resources. So the history of mastic gum, like the best ways to chew it, like maybe even different things to provide educational value to our subscribers, because the gum really is like a practice, and it could use a degree of education around, and then
kind of like mindfulness and just like be at one with your gum.
Yeah, right. And maybe like recipes, like we could, who knows? Like we're going to get creative with it, and this isn't something we've launched yet. This is something we're actively working on. I'm just like, this is present for me of like what I'm excited about.
Is that going to be delivered, like the medium, is that going to be just like an email newsletter, or is it an ebook, or how will you be delivering that information?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Landing page?
I think maybe a Circle is an interesting tool I've seen people use to do like
or
a
School. Is it called Skulls?
School is one, but I like one called Circle.
Okay.
And so I think they're both similar, but Circle is like more of a message board, so people can post on there. I want it to be a forum.
Okay.
Like the idea is when you really build a community, you can step away and the community continues to be engaged.
Yeah. Sometimes too engaged.
Yeah.
Let me warn you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Sometimes you got to ban some people for their ideologies.
Then you got to deal with all that. But we've been fortunate with our community. We have a forum as well. We use Discourse.
Okay. Yeah.
For that platform, so they'll get access to the community. They'll get access to the information. They'll have like these posts they can follow that will be pinned, or just like one of the channels will be all this education. They'll get the patch, the gum, the hat as well, or no?
No. So actually, that's going to be funny. So then we're doing a loyalty coupon element to it, basically, where on basically each month you get a punch card punch, and you get to use your punch card points for stuff like a free hat or a T-shirt or a bonus pack of gum. And we're going to just keep trying to come out with new little collector's things, because how do you keep people subscribed from month 6 to month 12? You got to keep people feeling really appreciated that you're still staying with it, and like reinvest some of that massive LTV into loyalty. So reward them with their loyalty.
I love that. Where are you using any software tools for that, or is that going to be like a custom built solution?
So I believe right now we're using Stay AI for our subscription, and I don't know if it's like they've publicly launched this yet, but they are about to release a new tool or aspect of it, literally called punch cards.
Okay.
And so the idea is it's integrated with the subscription app, and you can then, this loyalty feature is then built in to where you can take a subscriber that's been with you for a year and give them a birthday present automatically. It's all set up. So I don't know if it's out yet, but that's what we're going to use. I've heard that from them that's coming soon.
Okay. And so you have gifts along the way. I mean, those all become products in their self, right? Like you have to source the hat.
Yeah. But that's fun for me. That's my favorite part of it all.
Are you going to do like limited edition, like, because you have a black and gold hat right now, like it will always be black and gold, or are you going to be like, the first 1,000 subscribers get the black and gold one? It's like the founder edition of the Cybertruck or whatever.
Yeah, right. Well, that's a good question. Right now, we actually have 4 hat options.
Okay.
I just did this in 4 different colorways. It's pretty simple. We're using this awesome blank hat company called Otto, O-T-T-O. Okay. And I'm locally here in Austin with my buddy. He has a print shop, so he's embroidering these.
Okay.
And we're able to kind of just make low batches of them, but come out with a bunch of different varieties of the same hat in different colorways, same embroidery.
It's beautiful branding. Just like all this stuff you do is very creative. Do you do that, or do you have a designer that you work with?
I do most of it.
Okay.
Sometimes I do work with designers, but for honestly, like I do most of the like core creative vision with the brands, and I do love that. That's like what I feel most like passionate about. Yeah. Is the brand direction, the actual packaging and the product design. Like what the product actually is and the design of it is like what just totally lights me up.
Yeah. I have a side business I'll tell you about after we stop hitting record, or after we hit stop. And I want to steal some of these ideas for it. So I like what you're doing. I think there's a lot of potential with it. Where can people buy the gum?
mysticgum.com.
MYSTIC.
Yep.
Gum.com. Where can they follow you on Twitter?
Braxton Manley on Twitter, just at Braxton Manley. Please reach out. Like I would love to, anybody that actually listened to this, like would love to know what you thought of it. I'm actually trying to come out with a podcast myself soon with my brother. Yeah. We're calling it Don't Talk Commerce at the Dinner Table.
Okay.
And yeah, kind of with my brother, it'll be fun because we can talk about some of the stuff we were up to as kids and what led us here.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. I'm excited for that launch as well. As always, this has been another e-commerce conversation. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Cheers.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, e-commerce conversation nation.
And keep on growing.